The Alouettes don't want to go to Franklin unless they have to. He's only had about 3 or 4 days practice. That's hardly enough time for a quarterback to understand the system. Peter Dallariva, they've not gone to him yet. The ball is fumbled by Jackson. It is picked up by the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and they win a break inside the 35-yard line. Bill Baker came up with a football.
Well, it just appeared that the quarterback never did get the ball from the center, and we'll see the ball come up here as all the motion goes to the left, and he never did get that ball. And George Wells does a good job here of keeping Jackson from getting to that ball and pushed it across to Baker.
Right on, baby.
Coming here now, we see the rush coming on here now with Wells coming right in there free, and nobody was blocking him because the play, I'm sure, was supposed to go to the other side.
Well, the ball has gone to Saskatchewan. This is Riemann fighting for yardage around the 32. Picked up a couple. Carl Cornell and Glenn Weir stopped him. There is Bill Baker, back for the BC Lions, well satisfied with his work on that last play to give Saskatchewan the football.
Well, we have a flag on the field down there, Don, and we'll have to wait and see what the official is going to call. Lancaster handing off to number 21, and number 65, Holden, coming across on a tackle trap.
Now they've called Beeman on sportsmanlike conduct for Riemann, number 21. And back the ball comes. When the play ended, he was a little angry and frustrated and threw the ball in somebody's face. That could be a costly penalty for the Riders, who now go to second down and 20, back between the 42 and the 43 of Montreal. Looking for the interference call there is Bob Brewer. He and Cornell did some bumping as the ball was low. He couldn't bring it in. No flag. It is ruled incomplete. Third down and 20 Saskatchewan. That penalty now has taken them back, if not out of field goal range for McAreedy. They're going to make it a challenge for him, if that's the way they elect to go here on third down. He tried one earlier from the 51, which was partially blocked. He's in almost the same spot again at the 50-yard line with Guthrie holding for him. A 50-yard field goal attempt. He is short. Rhino. Hauled down at the Montreal 12-yard line by Molly McGee. Sylvester Molly McGee makes the stop, a 12-yard return. Montreal ball at the 12, with the score remaining 7-4 for the Alouettes.
First down, Montreal from their own 12.
Don't forget, fans in Hamilton can see the Tiger Cats and the Argonauts playing tomorrow in Edmonton, the Eskimos and Blue Bombers. That game across the CBC full network tomorrow afternoon, Thanksgiving Day. Rick Galbos. Stacked up by Roger Gorey and rolled back right at the line of scrimmage. There'll be no gain. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Rick Galbo, the ball carrier.
Ronnie Lancaster. I don't know if he appreciates being referred to as Popeye, but we certainly intended to show this man's durability, Russ.
No gain.
And certainly anyone who can play as well as he has for 18 years in this CFL has that Iron Man image that we pinned down him at the opening of the show.
Turning 40 years old this coming week. That is caught, but it's out of bounds. Ruled no catch on Brock Ainsley, and it goes to third down. So on third down, here's Wally Buono getting set to punt for the Montreal end zone. High snap in the end zone. He's got it away. Finally coming up with the ball is Paul Williams, getting out of bounds at the 48-yard line. So again, Lancaster comes back to take over with the ball in the Montreal zone.
Well, Buono, an excellent job of knocking that high snap from center down and getting that ball away, and from the end zone, getting it out where Saskatchewan is going to start at the 47-yard line. They could have been a lot closer.
Hey, Don, you mentioned that Ronnie Lancaster is going to be 40 years old. It's only 39 this week. Hate to correct you, but when you get up to the age that we are, all three of us, we're very sensitive about those things.
Well, he's going to be 40, but it won't be this week, right? That's the pass for incomplete for Bob Brewer. And they're trying to reach him several times. They can't. So it goes to second down.
John, that has surprised me this afternoon that Ronnie has gone to Bob Brewer so much. He caught 4 in the first half, and he's gone to him twice so far in this particular half for 6 attempts. And certainly having just come to this club, Ronnie Lancaster must feel that he can catch that ball very well.
Lancaster with the all-time touchdown record of the CFL. For Missouri, Vernon Perry right there trying to pick it off. It's knocked away. And once again, the Saskatchewan drive peters out. Goes to third down and 10. By the way, the man who's second all-time in touchdown passes in the CFL is sitting right next to me, Russ Jackson.
I'm so far behind him that you can't even find me in the record book, I don't think.
And I'll guarantee you won't catch up either.
I'll take even money on that.
Third down and 10. Line drive punt. Down to Dickie Harris. He's got room. He's got speed. Look out. Fumbles the ball. Picked up by Saskatchewan. Harris, after a fine run back, lost the football. Was picked up by Brandt. Saskatchewan will take over. They play 4 minutes and 15 seconds in the third quarter. It is still 7-4 for Montreal.
Nobody's got it like Pontiac's got it. Nobody's got it like Pontiac.
Pontiac introduces an entirely new family of automobiles. The Le Mans series for 1978. Pontiac Le Mans, Grand Le Mans, and Grand Am. The most scientifically designed road cars in the history of Pontiac. Trimmer than the 77 Le Mans, with room for 6. All new for 1978 Le Mans.
Nobody's got it like Pontiac.
You got it, Pontiac.
Nobody's got it like Pontiac's got it. Nobody's got it like Pontiac's got it. Nobody's got it like Pontiac. Pontiac's got it.
Number 18, Dickie Harris, has just dropped his second punt return. This time he wasn't really stripped of the ball as he was that first time by Sam Holden, number 65, after a great return, bringing it back almost to the original line of scrimmage.
Lancaster on first down. It is incomplete again. He's trying to go to that big tight end, Bob Brewer, and again frustrated at trying to reach him. Chuck Zapek there applying the coverage, climbing all over the Saskatchewan receiver, trying to get to that football.
And it seems that the linebackers are covering that tight end, and this is probably why Ronnie wants to try and get to him. But maybe if he can come to a back underneath the linebacker covering the tight end, he might have a lot more success.
Well, they've used Molly McGee swinging out of there so successfully, but not lately in this game. That could be a call coming up any moment now.
Or Tommy Riemann.
On second down and 10. No, sir. He's going deep on the sidelines. It is too far out of bounds. And McGee complaining that Tony Proudfoot had been interfering with it. I think he's claiming he pushed him out of bounds. So he tried to get to McGee but couldn't reach him.
Well, the Montreal defensive backfield, number 23 Proudfoot is starting as the inside safety on the left. You can see Dickie Harris taking his man, pushing him upfield, and this is what Molly McGee complained about right here, as Proudfoot is slowly pushing him down the sideline out of bounds and not allowing him to go by him. Good play, I think, by number 23, Proudfoot.
Here's McAreedy's punt. Floating down to Rhino. And a good penetrating thrust by Roger Goree brings him down just outside the 10-yard line. So again, Montreal has to start deep. Saskatchewan keeps holding them, getting the ball back in the Montreal half of the field, and then unable to move it as Lancaster has been unsuccessful in his recent pass attempts. Saskatchewan almost living exclusively by the pass, and right now dying by it. 9.5 minutes in the third quarter remain. John O'Leary, and O'Leary is out to about 17. That'll be good for a gain of 5, halfway to a first down. Goree and Wells there to contain him for the Riders. The game's only touchdown was scored by Mark Jackson, and the only reply for the Saskatchewan Roughriders from Bob McAreedy. One field goal he was good on, one he was wide on that went for a single point. Peter De La Riva, a durable member of the Alouette offensive lineup. That's John O'Leary, but he may be short of the first down. It's going to be fairly close. They'll call for the yardsticks around the 22. George Wells met him there. Lancaster thinking over the events of the past few offensive series, looking ahead to when he gets the ball back and what he might do with it. And it is short. It is going to be third down, half a yard to go.
Well, the fans a little upset with Coach Marv Levy, who is sitting on the punting team, feeling that give that offense a little confidence, but it's pretty difficult to do that down around your 22-yard line with only 3 points separating the two teams.
You know, we are almost at the halfway mark of this third quarter, 8.5 minutes remaining, and neither team has a first down in this quarter. Wally Buono hoops it high and hoops it deep. 35-yard line. Williams bumped out of bounds by Larry Smith at the Saskatchewan 43. A 53-yarder by Wally Buono.
And good coverage by that Montreal team going downfield, not letting Williams get outside and make a good return out of it.
Push not about by Larry Smith.
Reminder again that we'll have Winnipeg playing Edmonton as our Thanksgiving Day presentation for football fans across the country tomorrow afternoon. Lancaster with a first down. Here comes Buono. He's got him.
We mentioned that Ronnie's going to be 39 years old, and number 39 got to him that time. And this is one of the few times that they've brought on the linebackers, and bringing the linebackers here, number 77 Ayu and number 64 Weir take on the offensive lineman, allowing number 39 Buono to have a free run at Lancaster and throw him for almost a 20-yard loss. And I think that Wally Buono is probably one of the most improved linebackers in the Eastern CFL this year. He's got the opportunity to play, having let Mike Witcher go, and he's playing every game at that one position.
Here goes Molly McGee. No room, out of bounds. Dickie Harris and Chuck Zapek tracked him along the 25-yard line. And so it is going to be third down Saskatchewan and 29 yards to go.
John, going to that play where Buono sacked Ronnie Lancaster, they have not been dogging or blitzing Lancaster because he can hurt you. He's got all that experience, and he'll dump that ball off to those backs so well. And for the first time this game, they came on, Buono went free, and Lancaster didn't read it. You can tend to go to sleep no matter how many years experience you have back there.
Bob McAreedy. Not too deep, the Montreal 50-yard line. Harris. Dickie Harris. All the way down to the 10. run back for Harris. We'll be right back after this.
For guys like me who love the great smell of Brute, here's a play that goes all the way. First, you hit the shower with Brute 33 shampoo. You pick up protection against wetness with Brute 33 antiperspirant. Cut to the sink, where Brute 33 cream shave chops down even the toughest beards, and get super hair control with Brute 33 hairspray. Go all the way with Brute 33, because when you stay with the great smell of Brute, the great smell of Brute stays with you.
A 45-yard return by Dickie Harris sets it up on the Saskatchewan 9-yard line. First down and goal to go. Jackson is down at the 23. They'll give him the 20-yard line, but it's a big loss for Montreal. Wells and Gorey were there.
Well, Galbo's coming out to block for him, and number 30 O'Leary going into the flat. The pass they like to go, but Wells got to the outside along with Gorey, contained the quarterback, Marv Jackson, and he almost lost that ball again, holding it out like that. They could have stripped him of it, and he did that last week in the particular ball game against the Toronto Argonauts twice.
Second down and 19 now. For O'Leary, he can't bring it down. Bill Baker was pursuing Jackson, made him release. O'Leary was in a crowd, reached up and couldn't hang on. The Olympic Stadium crowd showing their dissatisfaction here of the Alouettes not being able to convert a big run back by Dickie Harris into a major score.
Well, we mentioned once before that in this three-game losing streak, they've had that ball 19 times. The Alouettes 19 times inside the other team's 40-yard line, and have only been able to convert that many attempts into 3 touchdowns. And they have been getting the chances last week. They've got them again today, but they just can't score those 7-pointers.
They get 3 from Don Sweet. And now it is Montreal 10, Saskatchewan 4.
Placement de Don Sweet réussi de la ligne de 26 verges.
Sweet with 141 points last year. A 26-yard field goal gives his team a lead of 6.
Don, we tend to forget with Dickie Harris returning that punt, setting them up on the 10-yard line, that for 2 successive years he returned punts for over 1,000 yards with the Alouettes, but was second to Johnny Rogers, who everybody looked at as being the premier punt returner in the CFL.
Well, he and Rhino have more than made up for the loss of Johnny Rogers. First down, 35-yard line. Saskatchewan goes from there, and Riemann is run down for no gain. Glenn Weir and Gordon Judges there.
Talking to Glenn Weir, number 64, before the ball game, he liked the weather as it was pelting down rain very hard. He said, this is better for us defensively. He said, we're going to win the battle down there defensively against the offense.
Piece of glass apparently has fallen out in that area there and has fallen down below. I hope it didn't injure anybody. All right. Again, good defensive reaction by Carl Cornell on Tommy Riemann, and Saskatchewan will give the ball up again. There's Dennis Franklin, the former Argonaut, not given a real shot at the quarterbacking job in Toronto. Called in this week to back up Mark Jackson. Now you see him warming up. We might see Dennis Franklin shortly. Not quite prepared with only 3 or 4 days in camp. But Marv Levy, well, he may be getting a little desperate right now.
Cal Murphy, the offensive line coach, was talking to Dennis Franklin, which means that he might be talking about sending him in.
Here's McAreedy giving the ball up on a good punt. Back to the 25-yard line for Rhino. And as Russ said, Montreal getting good returns from Rhino and Harris. Cleveland Van stopped Rhino that time at the 36. He brought it back 11 yards.
Well, Jackson is going in for this sequence. Number 8 going back in, and the fans being a little critical, maybe too quickly on a young rookie who's had some problems here.
Well, he's got his team into a 6-point lead despite the frustrations. They must not forget the fact that the Alouettes lead in the ball game. from the 36-yard line. Larry Smith in motion. This is John O'Leary. No room for him. Good inside reaction by the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Luke Clare and George Wells to contain him. And the game is nil. It's going to be second down and 10. There's the time remaining. We're in the third quarter. It is 10-4. Montreal leading Saskatchewan.
Gain of 1 yard. Second down, 9 Alouettes.
7 attempts, 1 completion for Mark Jackson. Here comes try number 8. Good. Peter Delareva. First down. Ted Provost and Randy Graham covering for the Riders. That's the first time they've gone to Delareva all day. We'll be right back from Montreal, but first let's pause for just a moment.
Well, you're gonna get yourself new wheels and you're wondering what they'll be. Just come on trucking with GMC. Get a rally wagon or a pickup truck, or get a Jimmy Fun machine and let's go trucking. Everybody's trucking, nothing goes trucking like a GMC. GMC, the truck people from General Motors.
Coming home and away, gonna share us a smile. 'Cause when you're smiling, keep on smiling. Love that's blue smiles along with you. Love that's
There's a look at the sky that has been that color over much of Ontario and Quebec for 2 weeks now. Drab day, the spectators under cover, the players on a wet field. And a first down, it is John O'Leary collecting about 3 for the Montreal Alouettes from midfield down near the Saskatchewan 52-yard line. To indicate the fact that neither team has mounted much of an offense today, Dickie Harris with 106 yards on punt returns has a higher total than either team's rushing total so far.
He's got 2 fumbles thrown in there as well.
Second down for Mark Jackson. Complete. Peter Delareva again at the 40-yard line. Cleveland Van made the hit on him. And it's amazing how when a quarterback discovers a receiver he may have neglected for a while, he tends to go back to the well. There's a shot of Peter Delareva on the Olympic scoreboard.
And he took that last one away from a pretty good middle linebacker, number 72, Cleveland Van.
So it's first down from the 40. Rick Galvos fights for about 3, reaching into the 37 where Ron Chirkus contains him. It's got to be second down at about 7.
Marv Levy looking on, and I'm sure he hopes that Mark Jackson will change this pattern a little bit. He's running on first down, passing on second down, and it makes it a little easier for the defense.
1:21 and counting here in the third quarter. Second down, about 7. John O'Leary has the first down.
From the end zone, we're going to see the classic example of a running back versus a linebacker. A little dump pass from the quarterback out to O'Leary, and there's O'Leary, number 30, on number 31, the linebacker Luke Clare, and this time the running back won.
He lost control of the ball, but they got it back. So Montreal will keep it first down from the Saskatchewan 27-yard line. Jackson for Brock Ainsley, touchdown!
One of those situations where we could have had an interception, and our left back, number 27, Paul Williams, was covered interception right now. And instead of getting the interception, tips the ball ahead, and Brock Ainsley, after tipping it once himself, makes just a great catch in the end zone to bring this crowd at Olympic Stadium of over 50,000 to their feet.
There's the point after by Don Sweet. So Montreal finally puts it together, traveling 74 yards in 7 plays for the score. And you have to feel a little sorry for Paul Williams, who, as Russ said, was lining it up for the interception, redirected the ball to Brock Ainsley, who made a great extension for the touchdown catch. And it's 17-4 Montreal.
And we were talking about number 20, Dennis Franklin, coming in on that particular series, and look what happened. Maybe a little pressure, and Jackson came through. But that is Brock Ainsley's first touchdown since he scored those 2 in Ottawa from Sonny Wade. One on that 105-yard touchdown catch, and then another one later in the ballgame.
18 seconds left in the third quarter. There's Williams on the right, Walters on the left at the Saskatchewan 5-yard line. I'd like to remind you while we have a moment, World Series action's coming up on CBC next week. But first of all, we'll have to determine if it's going to be the Yankees or the Royals to face the Dodgers. They'll take care of that tonight.
Who are you picking, Don?
Oh, that's a toin car. A toin toss, yes.
You're not too nervous.
No. Well, is it a team that builds a championship, or is it a team that buys one? That's what it's up to tonight. Williams decides not to get his feet wet, steps out at the 25-yard line, and Saskatchewan will start from there. John O'Leary. Russ mentioned the crowd. The Alouettes were concerned that they would have a crowd of under 50,000. They would like to finish the season with the claim that they had no fewer than 50 for every home game. Well, they've announced the crowd at 50,540, so that claim will stand up through today. Molly McGee. And he was taken down by Tony Proudfoot, the first man to meet him in an open field situation. And so, at the end of the third quarter, the score is Montreal 17 and Saskatchewan 4.
Here comes the incredible hits of Sonny and Cher, a dynamic new album from KTEL. 20 original super hits. This is the beautiful and talented Cher. Super duo Sonny and Cher. The hits keep happening. Superstars of television, giants of the music industry. Cher, the mysterious. This is Sonny and Cher. The incredible hits of Sonny and Cher. 20 dynamic original hits. $6.99 from KTEL. Tape or cassette, $7.99.
Available at Wilco, Woolworth, Zellers, Horizon, A&A Records, Sam the Record Man, Towers, also at the Bay, Eaton's, and other leading department stores.
The Canadian Football League is winding up the 77th season with close playoff races in East and West conferences. Keep up to date with game-by-game highlights on the CFL this week. Check your local listings.
Dickie Harris, number 18 from South Carolina University, at 5'11", 180 pounds, just has been doing a great job returning those punts and playing that cornerback spot for the Montreal Alouettes today.
Lancaster. A little bumping going on there. Yes, they call pass interference against Tony Proudfoot. Brian O'Hara on the sidelines was trying to bring the ball down. He got a belt in the back from the Alouette defender, and that goes as a completion, likely a first down right there. First down, Saskatchewan. They're just into quarter 4, and it's 17-4 for Montreal. The Lancaster magic has yet to show itself here.
Ronnie Lancaster going back to throw this ball now just before the pass interference, and Glenn Weir and Gordon Judges, 64 and 75, the Bobsey twins inside, putting the pressure on.
Almost picked off by Marvin Davis. Intended for Bob Brewer. Well, Marv Levy looking a little happier now, along with Cal Murphy, than we saw earlier.
Well, Cal Murphy cheering from the sideline. The Alouette defense now, knowing that Ronnie has to throw the ball, is going with a three-man front and dropping number 66 Marvin Davis off as a linebacker on many of these offensive plays.
Lancaster for Walters. That is a fumble. It's still free. Saskatchewan has it back. A flag is down.
We'll have to wait and see what has happened here because that ball was touched by quite a few people, and they might have called the Saskatchewan team for keeping an Alouette player from getting to the ball.
That appears to be it.
Pass completed to Joey Walters. Fumble. Penalty on the play.
This will take some time to discuss this one with the respective quarterbacks Randall and Lancaster.
The ball bounded free. Lancaster shaking his head about it. Apparently they have ruled that a Saskatchewan player interfered with the potential Montreal recovery of that ball. Bill Dell now talking with Ronnie Lancaster, and he doesn't like what he's hearing. Now Dell will explain it to us.
Illegal interference on a loose ball by Saskatchewan.
On a loose ball.
First down, Montreal. Unnecessary roughness on Montreal. 15-yard penalty and a first down.
Ronnie Lancaster going back, and we've got a blitz. Number 39 and 76, Guano and Zapek were picked up well by the Saskatchewan offensive line. But as Walters caught that ball, Perry punished him and threw that ball away. And we see them holding on now. They call, I assume it's number 70, Mazurek, for holding on to the Alouette player and preventing him from getting the ball.
Then Montreal tagged with the necessary roughness that takes it back, but they still keep it. Vernon Perry was the culprit of that infraction. Now somebody had too much to say, and they're going to mark it up. 10 more yards. And Montreal will go from the 50-yard line. Mark Jackson hauled down by number 31, Lou Clare, as he was breaking toward the sideline. That limits the gain to about 3.
Jackson tackled by.
Another flag is down.
Jackson going down here with a fake to Galbos, and Baker, he doesn't know Jackson's got the ball right now. He hit him, but he turned around thinking Galbos had the ball going off tackle. But there is a flag down, and we'll have to see again what this penalty is for.
Paul Williams is called for unnecessary roughness. So Saskatchewan now venting their frustration and picking up some very, very costly penalties.
Well, again, with the score 17-4, they were within those 2 converted touchdowns, and now with these penalties, moving Montreal within field goal range, it could put them more than those 2 converted touchdowns ahead. But just over 13 minutes left in this game.
Jackson's first down play. John O'Leary. O'Leary down to about the 22. Another penalty marker has been dropped. As Baker and Jackson exchange pleasantries. There's Joe Barnes.
There's a faint smile on his face right now.
I think this call, Russ, is for blocking before that ball was thrown. Before that ball was in the air. Marv Levy doesn't like this call.
I like, though, Don Jackson throwing on first down. We talked about that last drive where it was run and pass, run and pass.
Peter.
It's number 55, Barry Randall, coming out for further clarification on that call from referee Bill Dell.
Talk about number 55. He's the veteran of this club, and there are only actually 2 other Alouette players that have been an Alouette longer than him.
74 in Montreal. Doesn't matter.
Number 74 called for that illegal interference before the ball, and Barry Randall, number 55, as I mentioned, is the veteran here, and only Herb Trawick, who was with the Alouettes for 12 years, and Ted Elsby 11, have been there longer. Della Riva going downfield, number 74. The ball has not been thrown yet, and he's blocking on number 72, which means he's preventing him from getting into the play or near the interception.
O'Leary lining up to throw. No good. He overthrew his target. It was number 22, Bob Gaddis, with Steve Dennis covering him. That's the second pass thrown by O'Leary today. And now he's 1 for 2.
Well, the first time it was the big play leading to that Mark Jackson touchdown in the second quarter.
It is now second down and 20 for Montreal from Saskatchewan's 42. 17-4 for the Alouettes. Well, there was early movement there by the right side of that Saskatchewan line. I think the man you're looking at, Bill Baker, maybe offside, unless he was drawn there by some premature motion by the Alouettes. Yes, they call Baker offside.
Offside, Saskatchewan. Second down, 15.
So the Alouettes pick up 5. It'll be second down and 15 now from the 37. Brock Ainsley, 19, going right. Number 22, Bob Gaddis, wide left. Out of bounds. At the 28. Now they are 6 yards away from a first down.
Peter Della Riva they couldn't find in the first half as far as pass completions were concerned. Again, Jackson getting good protection, and Peter Della Riva making one of those typical patented catches for his third catch for 40 yards this afternoon, all in this second half.
On third down, DeTilio in the hold for Don Sweet. A 35-yard Montreal field goal attempt. He's good. Don Sweet is 2 for 2 today. And the Alouettes jump their lead to 20-4 over Saskatchewan. We'll be right back.
And now, the fantastic new mid-size Buick Century.
A little science.
The fastback design is pure function, but lo and behold, the execution is pure Buick.
A little magic.
Outside, it's trimmer than last year's, easier to park and maneuver in traffic. A family car with more headroom, more legroom.
A little magic.
It's what we need.
It's what they want.
The new mid-size Century. At your Buick dealers now.
Dribbles to the top of the key. Shoots. Good. The pitch. A swing and a miss. Strike 3.
Ever want to watch 2 things that are on at the same time? Well, now you can. Because Sony's revolutionary Betamax deck, which hooks up to any TV set, can actually videotape something off one channel while you're watching another channel. With Sony's Betamax, you won't miss a thing.
A triple play. You've just seen a triple play.
No, I didn't.
You don't see those very often.
Don Chevrier with Russ Jackson and Tom McKee back with you from Montreal as Saskatchewan trails by 16 points, 20-4. First down from the 35. Lancaster wobbles a long one right to Vernon Perry. And a penalty marker's been thrown after the interception.
Vernon Perry may get credit for that interception, but number 64, Glenn Weir, should get at least 50% of it, because he certainly put the rush on Ron Lancaster and caused him to throw that ball up in the air. 64 playing defensive tackle now, beats 2 men. He knocked off the first guard and put the pressure on, causing that ball to be thrown up a little bit like a wounded duck, but when you see somebody that size coming in on you, you certainly do that.
Then you saw Wally Buono come in and clip a Saskatchewan player. That's what the penalty marker was for. The Alouettes keep the ball, but back at their own 33, and they'll go first down from there. And there's the attendance, 50,540. Small by standards here in Montreal, but a fine crowd nonetheless. 2 flags on this play. O'Leary got out around the 35, 36-yard line, but the penalty markers will have a bearing on it. O'Leary was tremendously effective in Montreal's early season winning streak.
Offside, 37, Saskatchewan.
Gorey is offside for the Riders. O'Leary got 4, and the penalty's worth 5. They'll take that. First down and 5. Lancaster, 19 interceptions this season. You just saw number 19.
And he's had 3 of them this afternoon.
O'Leary to about the 40, getting 2. Bill Baker stopped him. It'll be second down and 3. We have just under 11 minutes remaining now.
Bill Baker, number 76 on isolation here, takes on Yoakum, and they're 2 big ones meeting each other, and Baker wins it because he does not let Yoakum move him one way or the other. He stays right in the hole. But I've been watching number 8, Mark Jackson, as we look at Baker, number 76, and Luke Claire, 31, and he's been bobbing his head a little bit, and he better be careful. The official's going to call him.
O'Leary runs into Cleveland Van and Ron Cherkis, and is close to a first down. They will call for a measurement requested by Montreal. Reminder again that tomorrow it is Winnipeg and Edmonton on the CBC network, with the Edmonton area, of course, blacked out. Big crowd expected at Clark Stadium. And in Hamilton, the Tiger Cats will play Toronto in a big Thanksgiving Day game. Is the tip of the ball there or not?
Should we get into our centimeters?
That has to be a fraction of a centimeter, and it is good enough for a first down.
Good blocking by this left side of that offensive line. Dan Yoakum, number 67, and Ray Watrin, 52. And coming right at your camera is number 30, John O'Leary, just getting that first down.
At the 43-yard line. O'Leary and Galvos, flare right. Jackson has to throw in a hurry. He makes it good to Gaddis. A flag thrown after the catch by Gaddis at center field. Might have called a clip on Montreal player after Gaddis made the catch. It appeared to be Peter Dallariva.
On the tackle.
Jackson, with all the motion going to the right, came this way, and Baker didn't take the fake, and he almost got to him here. He did a good job of getting the ball out to Gaddis. And number 74, Peter Dallariva, comes into the play late and makes a clip right here on number 26, Dennis. Steve Dennis, who was making the tackle, and Peter Dallariva trying to help out, made the particular penalty, but the first down had been made prior to the penalty. So with the 15 yards, we're back at the 40-yard line with a first down.
Well, for Montreal, the important thing is they keep the ball. Doesn't really matter where it is in the field. They're killing off valuable time. 9:40 left now. Rick Galvos struggling out to around the 44 in the grasp of Luke Claire. And another penalty marker is down over on the far side of the field. The first half was really virtually penalty-free by comparison. This one would appear to be a legal procedure against Montreal. Here's referee Bill Dell again.
Illegal procedure, number 36, Montreal.
That's Larry Smith. He moved early, so it's first down and 15 back at the 35-yard line. Montreal's been in that area the last, I don't know, half dozen or 8 plays.
Well, the illegal procedure with number 36 moving in that no man's land at the line of scrimmage.
Jackson being chased away back, and he's down inside the 20-yard line by George Wells.
Le sac du carrière par Wells sur Jackson. Une perte de 16 verges, a loss of 16 yards.
Wells did his job on that play, and the ball now back at the 19-yard line.
Second down, 31 yards.
You've got 31 to go on second down with 8:55 remaining. Well, Marv's unhappy again.
It's tough to stay happy very long as a football coach.
Yes, happiness is elusive in that area. This man is not exactly enjoying himself very much at the moment. His team down 20-4. O'Leary with a burst out to the 32. Called down by Ted Provost, number 10. But they're going to be a long way from the first down objective, and will be punting now as the Alouettes, on that series of plays from around the 50 back to the 25-yard line or so, must have killed off 5 minutes of playing time. O'Leary with 39 yards on the day, Walters 17, and Williams 27. A wait in the area of the Saskatchewan 35-yard line. There's the end zone view of the punting lineup and the punter, Wally Buono. Big charge in there by the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Larry Bird, a flag is thrown. That's Walters getting out to about the 53-yard line. Only a 31-yard punt that time by Buono. Walters, an ex-Winnipeg Blue Bomber. Wayne Conrad inside the 5-yard restraining zone. So they'll move it downfield.
Walters taking this ball, and Conrad, who had centered the ball, quite often there's no one over top of him, gets down there and inside that 5-yard restraining zone. And Saskatchewan, who've had quite a few opportunities this afternoon, have just not been able to score that touchdown.
First down now from the Montreal 47.5. Draw play. Riemann bumps Harris. Zapek has scored some out of bounds, along with Glenn Weir. But the gain is 5 to 6 yards. 7 minutes and 55 seconds remaining. If the Rough Riders are to come back, they'll have to get moving quickly. They trail by 16 points thanks to a 10-point Montreal outburst in the third quarter and 3 so far here in the fourth. The Riders have not scored since the second quarter, a single and a field goal. That is in behind Walters. Lancaster drifted that pass out there, way behind his target. Ronnie started the day rather impressively, and in the second half particularly, with pressure from the Montreal defense, his passing game has been anything but crisp. Not the Ron Lancaster style we've come to know.
We have to give a lot of credit to that Montreal defensive secondary, as well as the linebackers, who have done a good job of shutting off McGee and Riemann coming out of the backfield, where Ronnie likes to go and was going early in the ball game.
Molly McGee tries to one-hand the ball and can't bring it in. So it goes to third down. And they'll give the ball up, or the turnover now on the third down play goes to first down. A turnover for the Alouettes. Saskatchewan running out of hope and running out of time. We'll be back right after this.
I like it here in the city. I like what the city has to say. I like city things to see and do. I wouldn't have it any other way. 'Cause when you're smiling, just keep on smiling. I mean blue smiles along with you.
Montreal with 7 minutes and 10 seconds remaining. Larry Smith out to the 51, close to a first down. The Alouettes in command, 20-4. Larry Smith, the fine Canadian out of Bishop's University. He's had his injuries this season. Battled around in the Ottawa game, again against Hamilton a couple of weeks ago. Another fine example of a very durable kind of football player, Russ.
And has played many positions for this Alouette team over the last few years. When they needed a fullback, he played fullback. If they needed a running back. This year, he and Peter Delariva, two good Canadians playing those wing-back spots in this new Marv Levy offense. And Marvin Davis, cheering the offense on, wants a little rest on the sideline.
They go for the first down, they get it. Mark Jackson leans in there, and a quarterback sneak to pick up the few centimeters he needed for the first down. Well, football, as you know, they say will never go metric. It simply wouldn't work out. It may be the last stronghold of the English measure system with the yards we have in football. It's been talked about, but there are no plans in North America to convert it to metric.
Yet. High school football around Toronto is metric now.
Yep. Rick Galvo to the 50-yard line of Saskatchewan. He picks up 7.
Don, you can see the momentum changing now with the Montreal offensive line feeling they can dominate that defensive front four of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and they're able to run. O'Leary and Galvo's in there and make those first downs or the second down plays, 2nd and 3, 2nd and 4.
2nd and 3 right now from the 50. Jackson's going to hang on to it and looks for the marker and is a yard away from it. Around the 48. Cleveland Van, number 72, forced him.
Number 72, Cleveland Van, playing that middle linebacker spot, is one of the best ones out west. And he comes straight across field with no one touching him and makes the good contact to push Jackson out of bounds before he could get to that first down marker to leave them a yard and a half short of that first down. But he's been one of the real finds for Saskatchewan over the last couple of years and has moved into that middle linebacker spot that is so important for any defense to have a key man in the middle of that defense. And he has done it for the Rough Riders of Saskatchewan.
Who will get the ball back with 5:15 remaining. 3rd down, a yard and a half. Buono pops it high, not too deep. In a crowd, there'll be no yards there as Joey Walters. He gets spun back. Ian Mofford finally comes in to nail him. But the Alouettes were in too close again. 27 yards, the length of that punt.
Buono not getting that ball up too high, and again as Walters receives this punt, the Montreal Alouettes, 2 or 3 of them within that 5-yard restraining zone, moving the ball up now just outside the 35-yard line, where Ronnie Lancaster and the Rough Riders will attempt again to get something moving.
Well, he's worked so many miracles before. He may have to dig very deep to produce one today to offset the 16-point Montreal lead with 4 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. Montreal 20, Saskatchewan 4. That's Riemann out to about the 40-yard line, getting 4. Wally Buono and Tony Proudfoot there to meet him. He's 2nd down, about 6. If Montreal hangs on to this lead, as it appears they will open up a 4-game lead in first place in the CFL East, with Hamilton playing Toronto tomorrow. Saskatchewan loses, they remain tied for 2nd with Winnipeg. The Bombers get a chance to improve that in Edmonton tomorrow. O'Hara. He was cut down by Carl Cornell around the 54-yard line. That'll be a first down. There's an injured Saskatchewan player down now. It's Steve Mazurek in front of the Montreal bench. I believe that's the first time we've seen a player really shaken up today. Sandy Archer, you'll see there, a veteran Saskatchewan trainer, comes out to give Mazurek assistance.
And number 74, Jerry Fellner, will come in to replace Mazurek, at this time as one of the wide receivers. And I don't think he's bringing any advice in for number 23.
No, I don't think that's required right now. Ronnie knows what has to be done. The question is, can it be done on the time remaining against this very strong Montreal defensive club? He's going deep for O'Hara. He's got him! And at the 3-yard line, he's hauled down from behind by Tony Proudfoot.
Ronnie Lancaster getting good pass protection, a 4-man rush. They turned all the pass rush to the outside here, and O'Hara went down, and Proudfoot had the deep outside. Dickie Harris was short on the outside. Proudfoot had the deep outside. He got in behind him, and Rhino, number 21, came across with a saving tackle. Otherwise, number 16, O'Hara, would have been in the end zone.
3 minutes left.
And if they score, we could probably look at an attempt at a 2-point conversion.
Raymond down around the 1-yard line gets turned back. As they battle for the football, it was stolen from him by Proudfoot. But it remains in Saskatchewan's possession. We'll be right back with 3 minutes to play. Smile!
Disco me. Whoa, disco you. Disco smile. Whoa, disco blue. Disco cold. Disco fresh. Disco blue. Disco best. When you smile, all for you. One for me and one for you. And when you smile, let that blue smile along with you. Blue, 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 blue. Let's blue.
All right, 2 minutes and 50 seconds left. 20-4 for Montreal. Saskatchewan second down at the 1-yard line. Raymond, touchdown. Well, as Russ suggested, the 2-point conversion now. There's the sign from Jim Eddy, go for 2. The score is 20-10. 2 points, if they get them, would leave them 8 behind. O'Hara's catch, the key factor in that touchdown drive.
And there have been miracles performed before by this team.
Lancaster going for 2 points. Lobs it up for O'Hara, nowhere near him. They got mixed up. O'Hara cut back inside. The pass went out to the corner, and they get nothing on the convert. It remains 20-10. So Saskatchewan, a converted touchdown and a field goal away with 2 minutes and 41 seconds left.
And the situation there, as I'm sure all the fans know, that if they could have converted that 2-point conversion, it would have left them with a chance of scoring another touchdown and another 2-point conversion of tying this ball game.
And I would think you can look for the short kickoff right here.
They must get that ball back in a hurry.
Their choice is to, with the time remaining, to get 2 offensive scoring plays in, a field goal and a touchdown at least. Either kick deep and hope to hold Montreal, but the Alouettes could use up some of that 2:41 if they get the ball, or attempt it right now and a short kickoff to take over around midfield.
And I'm surprised that Marv Levy maybe hasn't got some better hands up front on that line. He's still got some of his offensive linemen up close, 10 yards from where that ball will be kicked.
McAreedy will try it. It's gone the 10 yards. Right to Wally Buono. A flag is down. Saskatchewan is offside on the kickoff. McAreedy hit it a bit too far. They will likely decline that penalty, the Alouettes, and take it right there at their own 46-yard line and endeavor to use up as much time as they possibly can.
He was offside.
For Saskatchewan,
Steve Dennis was offside on the kickoff. 2:40 left. They are 10 points apart. Mark Jackson directs the Alouettes on this first down play. He's gone all the way. Larry Smith, a couple for him around the 49. 2:23 remaining now. Of course, as you know, the running plays absorb much more time, and from both a safety standpoint and a time-consuming standpoint, that is the route the Alouettes can be expected to go. Second down and 8. Ian Mofford in offensively, players wide right. That's Rick Galvo's battling his way out, but short of a first down to about the 54. They're 3 away from the first down. Exactly 2 minutes remaining.
arrêté par Louis Claire.
Cleveland Van, number 72, who's played a strong game defensively with Saskatchewan on isolation, thanks to Whit Tucker, sets up there, takes on the offensive center's block, Wayne Conrad, and makes the tackle, stopping Galvo short of that first down.
It's 3rd and 2. A high snap to Wally Bottom. The ball rolling back inside the 20-yard line. He's down. Saskatchewan's going to take over right there and don't go away.
Not how important that two-point conversion could have been right now, but we still have a ball game because right now Saskatchewan can score in a hurry. We could have another short kickoff, but they have been having problems. That ball has gone over Buono's head a few times. The previous times he has been able to take that ball, knock it down, and get it away, but Wayne Conrad has been having the problems, and this time he's put Saskatchewan on the Alouette 15-yard line, and Buono has been having those problems. He's fielding that ball from Conrad all afternoon.
1 minute, 38 seconds remaining. Two flags thrown into the end zone. Touchdown catch dropped by Walters. He had the ball and lost it.
Well, we've got interference, but I don't know who it's on.
It appears to be against Vernon Perry of the Alouettes, number 37. 1:33 left.
Well, we know it's against Montreal.
Wallers could have eliminated any and all concern about that penalty by hanging on to the football.
Number 37, Montreal, illegal pass interference.
It is Vernon Perry. The ball will go down to the 4-yard line. Brock Ainsley, as anxious as any Alouette right now.
Ronnie Lancaster going down now, and Vernon Perry is the one who gets called for holding that receiver. And even then, Walters got away from him and dropped the ball. The clock won't start now until the ball has been centered following that penalty.
Lancaster into the end zone. Touchdown! O'Hara. 1:26 left, and it's 20-16.
O'Hara, all he did was run into the end zone, go as deep as he could, pushing the defender by, and then Lancaster threw it low and in front of him, and he came back for the ball here with number 21 Rhino doing a good job of covering him, but you just can't knock that ball away. Again on ISO, we see O'Hara going downfield, and he pushes deep into the end zone here. Then he comes back, and Lancaster keeps it low and away from the defender, and number 27 Crump tried to knock it loose, but he couldn't. And they'll probably go for that 2 points again, and look out.
If they don't get the 2 points, they'll have to get another touchdown to win this ball game. Going for 2. They've got it.
And we have a ball game here. Number 78, Bob Brewer, that new tight end. They went to him for the big 2 points, and we talked about excitement. We talked about miracles. And number 23 has pulled a lot of them.
The Alouettes complained Brewer was out of bounds.
But he
watch
was
it carefully.
Out, Don, I think. Watch this now as Brewer goes up for the ball, and I believe number 27, Crump, actually pushes him out. And if he did, no matter whether he's out of bounds or not, you cannot propel that offensive receiver out of bounds, which, whether he was out of bounds or not, I think Crump did push him, and it was a good call by the official. And here we go with 1 minute and 26 seconds, another short kickoff. And what was a very comfortable lead about 2 minutes ago is very suspect right now.
We have the sun coming out, blue skies overhead, but the Alouettes' outlook is gloomy right now as they are being threatened by the Saskatchewan Roughriders. 20-18. And suddenly we're in for a most dramatic finish here at the Olympic Stadium. McAready, the short kickoff attempt again. He missed the first time. Detilio gave it right to a Saskatchewan player. Back to an Alouette. Montreal has got it. What a chance there for the Roughriders. But the Alouettes come up with a football.
Well, McAready did a great job this time because he hit the best chip shot you will ever see a guy kick. He's got that thing way up in the air now. He's given his people time to get down there. And as the ball comes, it is knocked away from that receiver. And number 10, Ted Provost, seemed to have the best shot at it for the Saskatchewan team. But his counter number 10, Mofford, it was Detilio, number 9, who really got wiped out when he made that original hit and contact with the ball, but it was Mofford, number 10, who came up with a big play for the Alouettes.
Here's Rick Galvos. Saskatchewan contains him right around the 52-yard line.
But McAready, Don, couldn't have kicked that ball any better. He chipped that thing up in the air, and they just drilled number 9, Detilio, and a ball popped right to Ted Provost, number 10.
Well, he had a rehearsal a few plays ago, one that misfired. He kicked that one, as you said, just about perfectly. 57 seconds, the clock moving down now. Second down for Montreal. Jackson will keep. He gets out to within about 3 yards of a first down, but that is all. And we have 45 seconds left.
And Saskatchewan's going to get one more crack at it.
Remember, if they could get anywhere close, a field goal would win it for them. But with Montreal punting, it'll take a great run back for the Roughriders and a couple of sharply executed plays to get down into range.
Do you think Conrad is thinking about centering this ball back right now?
If he remembers, of course, what happened the last time. It sailed over the head of Wally Buono. This one is low.
And here they come.
Look out.
Look out.
Buono getting away. He's got it.
And there's the play of the game.
How about that?
The Saskatchewan Roughriders brought everybody but one person. They went back. Tommy Reedman, the field got pumped. The snap was low. Buono kicked the ball, and he got outside the containment. And you can see Jim Eddy and his staff very dejected on the sideline. But here's the center. Everybody, 11 men are coming on. And Buono couldn't get away, and they lost containment on that side. And Carl Cornell gave the one block that was necessary for Buono to get outside and make the play. And that has to be the biggest play of the ball game. And I'm sure Wayne Conrad is going to have nightmares tonight.
He'll thank Wally Buono that it didn't cost him a ball game. 18 seconds remaining. It's been quite a final 5 minutes here in Montreal. It was 20-4. Saskatchewan roaring back with a pair of touchdowns. One unconverted, one with a 2-point conversion. Then the attempt by McAready, which just failed with a short kickoff. Then the low snap. You saw what Wally Buono did to bail himself out. Montreal could kill it off. There's no time left in the clock. Down goes Jackson. The Alouettes hang on to a victory. Eddie walks away, still unsure as to how his defenders allowed Wally Buono to get away. The Riders, with one of their patented finishes, almost pulled it off but fell short. The final score is Montreal 20 and Saskatchewan 18.
Some people feel uncomfortable with anything new, and they always leave it up to the other guy. Labatt's Cool Spring is a new kind of beer, first of its kind to be brewed in Canada with a little less alcohol than regular beer. But if you're the type that shies away from anything new, you'll never find out that Cool Spring makes it on taste, and that's a lot to leave to the other guy.
Well, you're gonna get yourself new wheels and you're wondering what they'll be. Just come on trucking with GMC, get a rally wagon or a pickup truck, or get a Jimmy Fun machine and let's go trucking. Everybody's trucking, nothing goes trucking like a GMC. GMC, the truck people from General Motors.
Electrohome for 1978 brings to television a new dimension in color. Electrocolor. Whites on television are often muddied with tints of red or blue or green. We call this color pollution. Electrocolor is designed to eliminate color pollution, to give you incredibly pure white and the most beautiful natural color you will ever experience. Color with the Electrohome 3-year warranty. Electrocolor, the new dimension in color from Electrohome.
Hockey Night in Canada returns for another season on CBC television this Saturday. The National Network will see the New York Rangers and the Montreal Canadiens from the Forum. The Ontario Network, the game between Buffalo and Toronto from Maple Leaf Gardens. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area. Yes, it is that time when all three major sports overlap, baseball, hockey, and football. And football, I'll tell you, the Saskatchewan Roughriders almost overlapped the Montreal Alouettes in the dying minutes of today's game, just when we thought that the Montreal Alouettes were going to have to do nothing more, really, than just play out the clock. With me is Joe Barnes and Sonny Wade, two guys who should... Did you guys pay to get in here today?
Should have.
Joe, how did you see the game from the sidelines?
Well, I thought our defense done just another tremendous job, just like they have all year, and the offense had some trouble moving the ball, but once again they came out with the touchdowns when they needed them.
We want to know personally about you. What's the situation?
Well, I hope to be back for the playoffs. I'm feeling pretty good right now. The shoulder's feeling much better, and I'm getting a little movement in it, and with God willing, I'll be back shortly.
Everybody had you written off for the playoffs, though. That's a pretty tough one to come back from.
Well, Dr. Percy, who did the operation, did just a tremendous job, and he's already checked the shoulder. And matter of fact, I started my therapy exercises last week, and it's feeling much better, and he says I should be throwing next week.
It was my misfortune to be standing right there at the sidelines when you did get decked in that Toronto game and hurt yourself. You knew right away. You were in an awful lot of pain as soon as you rolled over.
Yeah, that's the second time I hurt the shoulder, and the second time for a shoulder separation, so I knew what the pain was like.
Is this going to bug you at all when you do get back into action?
No, and you can't think about that. When you start thinking about getting hurt, that's when you usually get hurt, so I'm just going to go back and play as physical as I have been.
Well, let's continue our visit with the walking wounded and go over to Sonny Wade. What's the story with you now?
Well, Tom, I'm feeling much better now. I've taken a couple weeks off. I got a little shoulder and chest injury against Hamilton a couple weeks ago, but I've been improving steadily each day.
Yeah, you seem to be well, first of all, it was your shoulder when you came off the field in Hamilton, and then you started to feel some pain in the chest. What did they diagnose it, or indeed have they found out what's wrong?
Well, the doctor told me that he thought maybe it was some sprung or torn cartilage around the rib cage, right off the sternum. So, he doesn't know how severe the injury is. It's really tough to tell this time, and see how it responds to treatment. And like I said, it's been doing better each day.
The coach was telling us that he thought, and I guess maybe you did too when you came out of Hamilton, that you'd be ready to go the following week. But you just couldn't throw the ball, huh?
No, it was really sore, and that's a part of your body that you use when you throw the ball. And I was just, kind of handicapped so bad I just really couldn't throw it.
Now, you're quite a different quarterback from Joe Barnes. I'm not asking you to compare yourselves with each other, but your drop back, Sonny, how did you adjust in that game against the Ottawa Roughriders? In other words, from the game that Joe Barnes would have called, perhaps.
Well, our offense is diversified enough where we do have, rollout type passes and drop back passes. So, it's at the quarterback's disposal to use what he, feels he can operate within and what he needs to move the ball. So, I'm not saying my play selection would be the same as Joe's, but like I said, our offense has got diversification enough where we can use what we want.
It must seem very strange to sit on the sidelines and have to, small s, suffer through some of the growing pains that Mark Jackson is going through.
Yeah, but, like Joe was saying, I think he did a good job. Our defense played very well, kept us in the ball game, and we got points when we, really needed them, and I think he did a good job.
When are you coming back?
Hopefully next week.
Okay, we'll be watching for you. Thank you very much, Joe Barnes, for talking with us. Now, let's go over on this side. Dickie Harris, a man who's had an extremely busy afternoon, Dick.
Tom, I certainly did. I've had a few punts there. I fumbled a couple, I guess, too, which luckily we covered one, I think, and in fact, we lost both of them, really.
This Rand Lancaster gives you fits, doesn't he?
Oh, he's a super quarterback. He's a guy that's been around, I guess, lost count, I guess 19 years now, and he reads coverage as super, and you really got to mix it up on him and try to keep him guessing, because if you give him anything too steady, he'll just pick you apart.
Let's take a look at some of your action. I think we have a punt return down here for you. Let's see if we can pick you out here. That's a pretty small screen from our vantage point here.
Yeah. Well, I think we had almost fumbled the ball right there, and I got it, and this was a middle return, and just right up the old gut there, and got by a couple guys, and actually ran out of steam here. I was a little tired. Thought I was going to go for a second. The kicker had a little angle, but the old Jets just didn't kick in there.
Well, you gave it quite a shot. There's no doubt about that. What'd they throw at you? Anything surprising?
Oh, no, they threw the regular stuff. Ronnie mixes it up, like I said. He kind of picks away to sometimes, throwing the short stuff, but you always got to, if you play too close on him, we'll go deep on you, and I think we played super defense for most of the game until the very end there. I think we got a little lax. We had the one bomb and put him back in the game, and all of a sudden, bang, like I said, you give Ronnie a chance, and they're right there knocking on your door.
Well, defensively, you played a very fine football game. Let's go over on the other side and find out from Mark Jackson about the offense. Mark?
Well, we were sputtering there, I guess, in the first half, and they were doing a good job defensing our sprint out. So, they're in the second half and a couple of long situations. I just decided to go the drop back pass, and got plenty of time to throw, and we just picked up a couple of crucial first downs, and then Brock came up with the big catch down there on the goal line, super catch, and we picked up a little, but still need to get a little more consistency, I think.
I really thought that was the turning point maybe of the football game. I thought Williams shouldn't have gone for the interception. I think that's basically what he did, don't you?
Yes, sir. He just made a break on the ball, and it went right through his hands, and Brock was right there to pick it up and did a super job hanging on to it.
Let's take another look at it and just see the situation here.
It's just a straight drop back here with Brock on a quick post, and he just tried to, hit in behind the zone right there, and Brock did a super job reacting to the ball after it was tipped.
Well, on our replay here, I didn't have a chance to see it during our telecast, but certainly Williams was beaten by Ainsley anyway.
Yeah, I guess he was, but he made a good recovery on the ball, broke real well on the ball, and almost came up with the interception. And, that's the type of thing that kind of turns the ball game away.
It's kind of nice for yourself to get a touchdown.
Oh, yeah. After last week, it was an awful shaky start, and, I played a little better this week, I feel like, but, I feel like that I need a little more consistency.
Well, you're going to get it, I would think. Good luck to you, and thanks for coming in and talking with us. Nice victory.
Thank you.
Well, we don't know if Mark Jackson is going to end up in the Hall of Fame, but we have had some new members this year. One of them happens to be Tommy Joe Coffey, both great player, both the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference. Here's Don Chevrier.
Tom, West Texas State and Edmonton are a couple of thousand miles apart. You made that long trip to launch your career, and as I recall in those days, you were pretty well known as a field goal man.
Well, in those days, Don, I think I was about everything. I was one of those people that wasn't really proficient enough either offensively or defensively, so I had to play both in order to keep my job. That was 1959, goes back when you were a young man, and so was I.
Mm-hmm. Way back.
Way back, and in those days you did have to play both ways, and I kicked the odd field goal, and I run down under the odd punt, and I run down under the odd kickoff, and I've got a couple of interceptions in there somewhere, but it was a little tougher then, I think.
I remember one field goal, I'm sure you do too. It resulted in a Western Championship for Edmonton in 1960, produced a final score of 4-2 in Winnipeg, and that's one I'm sure you won't forget.
Well, Don, that was a long time ago, That was an exceptionally tough series that year because we had played 5 games in I think it was 12 or 13 days, and You know how cold it can get in Winnipeg in November. It was exceptionally cold. And the thing I remember best about that was the fellow holding the ball, Don Getty, will still swear to this day that the first one was in there.
Mm-hmm.
And so will I. And I think when people go to recalling that particular field goal, it's referred to as a second chance field goal because I had missed one from a shorter distance 30 seconds before that, and then I got fortunate and made the last one, which put us in the Grey Cup. And Getty will tell you to this day that first one was in there, and so will I. However, the guy in the striped shirt behind us says no, it wasn't. But that's a field goal that's remembered as a second chance.
Now, you were young, you were in your early 20s, and shortly after that decided to jump out of football for a while and go into business.
Well, it was a combination of things, Don. I didn't feel that in 1961 I could play because I had broken a bone in my right wrist, and I had really played in 59 and 60 with that bone still broken. And I thought it was a good opportunity, and I didn't feel that I was physically capable of playing in 1961. Therefore, I went into business and, in fact, had 2 operations on my wrist coming back in. And I reflect back on it. I think it's one of the best things that ever happened to me because I was just another football player during 59 and 60, and I came back in 62. Got a golden opportunity to play several positions, and Jackie Parker chose to throw the ball to me quite often, and I was fortunate to be able to catch it. And from 1962 until the time I quit, everything just came up roses, really.
Well, in a sense, when you came to Hamilton, it was a brand new career because by then it wasn't a case of playing all over the field. You knew what your position was basically and became a specialist in that area as a receiver. Well,
This is very true. The change from 1966 to 1967 was something completely new because in 1966 I still played some defense, and I remember one particular game that my job, of all things, was to cover Hugh Campbell. And I didn't do a bad job because Hugh only caught one ball this particular game, and it was for a touchdown. And that's the only one that Hugh had caught. And I didn't play another down to defense after I moved to Hamilton, and was really used more as a wide receiver, whereas in Edmonton I played in tight, I played outside, and I run out of the backfield. And it was a really, as you say, a new career all over.
You set records. As you look back on it now in retrospect, is there anything that you didn't get done as a pro football player, anything you would like to have achieved?
Well, Don, I think there's a lot of things that if I sat here and said that no, there's nothing that I wanted to achieve that I didn't, that would make me arrogant. And also it'd be fictitious because there's a lot of things I would have liked to have done that I wasn't able to do. I would have dearly loved to have been able to win the Shinley Award one of the 7 times that I was nominated for it, but somewhere or other I never did manage that. I would have liked to have played a couple more years with Jackie Parker. I felt very fortunate in being able to line up and in fact room with Hal Patterson for a preseason and 2 league games until such time as he got hurt in Montreal and finished his career. And there's only one other pass receiver in the history of the Canadian Football League that I admired, and that was Hal Patterson. And I thought it was a great thrill that I was going to get to play on the same team with him. I could go on for hours on reflections, and I sometimes wish that I had been smart enough to keep a diary. Mm-hmm. From the day that I first started, I could tell you stories that you could laugh for 100 years at some of the things that I've seen. I can recall them.
Well, let me ask you this about...
I would have loved to have done that.
About your disappointment in the Shinley Awards, and that certainly is valid. Does your selection to the Hall of Fame in some way make up for that?
Well, you can never go back and make up for anything, can you? You miss one thing, you miss it. It doesn't come back. My selection in the Hall of Fame comes as probably, Don, the greatest single honor that I've had in connection with the Canadian Football League. And the reason that being is, as you know, and as Mr. Goddard said earlier, you have to be out of football for 3 years before you're eligible. Well, I've only been out for 3 years. This is the first year that there's only been 2 players inducted. there's been 6 or 7 or 8 inducted. And I went around a lot of outstanding football players and was put into the Hall of Fame in the first possible chance that I could have been. And for me, this is a great single honor to be able to leapfrog possibly over some players that deserve to be in more so than I. And I think that is one of the biggest thrills that I've had, not being necessarily put in the Hall of Fame. If it had been 15 years from now, I might have expected it, but after only 3 years and the first possible chance, it's a great thrill.
Well, there's Tommy Joe Coffey, Hall of Famer. There haven't been, are not, and will not be many like him. You're watching the CFL on CBC, and we'll return in a moment.
Chevrolet for 78 announces a lot more Chevette for a lot less money. New Chevette standard equipment includes a radio, reclining bucket seats, white-walled tires, console, sports steering wheel, 1.6-liter engine, 18 new standard features in all, and you still get a wide hatch, carpeting, front disc brakes, rack and pinion steering, and more. The 78 Chevy Chevette, a lot more Chevette for a lot less money.
Well, of all the comebacks that Ronnie Lancaster has engineered, we almost saw the one to end them all today, because with 2 minutes and 41 seconds left, his team was behind by 16 points. And that really is almost impossible for anyone to come back. If it hadn't been for Wally Buono, Saskatchewan might well have come back and won that football game.
Well, even if it hadn't been for Wally Buono, if they'd got that other 2-point conversion, they would have been in a tie situation and put a lot of pressure on the particular Montreal team. But the young kid that really brought the Regina team back, I think, and that's not Ronnie Lancaster, was Brian O'Hara, who was a Regina native and caught this long pass from Ronnie Lancaster. He beat number 23 Proudfoot. Harris had the short coverage. Lancaster went back, got the good protection as they pushed the entire defense of the Alouettes to the outside, and O'Hara got in behind Proudfoot, and it was number 21 Randy Rina, who plays the free rover, who came across and made the saving tackle. And it was 2 plays after this that Tommy Riemann took the ball into the end zone and made the score 20-10, and then they attempted that first of the 2-point conversions, and they just couldn't turn it around.
That was a misfire, actually, because Lancaster and his receiver got turned around and mixed up in what was to happen. The 2 points, as Russ said, could have tied the game. Then we saw O'Hara going to work once again for the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Well, Brian this time went downfield. He pushed the defender right into the end zone, turned around and came back, and Lancaster, showing his ability, threw the ball away from Rhino number 21, who was playing man-to-man on the receiver O'Hara, and he got that touchdown, which again put them in that position, and they did get the 2-point conversion after that, and it led to the dynamic finish.
Well, earlier they had tried a short kickoff from Bob McAreedy that misfired. This one, the second one, was very, very close. As a matter of fact, it was set up to the point where the Saskatchewan Roughriders might have had the ball. They got another chance. A bad snap by Wayne Conrad back to Wally Buono, and did he bail out beautifully?
Well, he bailed out here, Don, and the important thing, Cornell, number 72, got just a little shoulder block on any containment the Saskatchewan had. And I'm sure that Jim Eddy was really upset. There was a problem here because they had 11 men rushing the punter. They knew that Conrad was having trouble getting the ball back to Buono, and they didn't contain. And if they had, who knows, Saskatchewan could have pulled that thing out, and everyone back in that province would be just happy today.
Well, they sure would. Right now, I'm sure they're quite disappointed. They saw a great finish to the football game. Saskatchewan Roughriders, by losing, remain temporarily tied in second place in the West. The Alouettes have a 4-game lead atop the Eastern standings. Now, a final word from Tom McKee. Tom?
Down to the CBC's doubleheader this holiday weekend in football continues tomorrow. Winnipeg Blue Bombers will be playing at Edmonton. We invite you to join Ernie Afghanis, Frank Rigney, and Don Whitman at that time. No television of the other game in the CFL, the Toronto Argonauts at the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Yesterday, Ottawa defeated Calgary 24-20, and today, here in Montreal, the Alouettes defeated Saskatchewan 20-18. Tom McKee for Don Chevrier and Russ Jackson, hoping you have a happy Thanksgiving Day.
CBC presents Canadian Professional Football. Brought to you by KTEL International, specialists in household and leisure time products. Labatt's, brewers of Labatt's 50 and Labatt's Blue. Across Canada, beer at its best.
This is CBC,